Well, sometimes you'll obviously hear the tech aspect being added into sports, but in what way have you been able to kind of add tech into, what you do?
Being able to, automate some processes, being able to use technology to be more efficient, to bring time management into their daily lives, right? So as we both know, student athletes have the balance, being a student and then also being an athlete. So practices, training, all these other things. If I can come in and help them be more efficient and be able to not have to have those stressors, because that's another thing of it, just mental health, right? But not have to be so stressed about everything that they have to do. They can understand how to use these technologies to.
So what is one piece of tech, whether that is a hardware or software, that you feel as if most, if not every athlete should use in their brand building and business growth?
Everybody probably knows about ChatGPT, AI, right? One of the things that they always that always comes up is, they're using it to cheat, or they're using it to write a paper, they're using it to all these other things. But if you really learn how to use ChatGPT for its purpose, and that is to amplify your creativity, amplify what's in your brain, you're going to have a game changer, right? You're going to be able to go into your day and have it mapped out. You're going to be able to have your thoughts processed and put into.
What is one of the ways that you have seen it used, or that you've used it for your athletes, that have been one of the most beneficial for them?
Using it as a study mechanism was a game changer. I used ChatGPT and I started breaking it down. I said, hey, break this down to me in its simplest form. And then it started giving me sports analogies to these concepts that I was trying to understand.
Like, whether you like it or not, you are a business now, right? Especially the college athletes. You are a business. How you operate in the NIL space should be as a business, because you get a little bit more benefits doing so. In what ways should they operate as a business? And in doing so, how should they also do certain things to protect their own interests so other companies don't take advantage of them?
Build that structure. Have what are you interested in? Find out what you're interested in and make sure you're partnering with brands and people that are going to be within your best interest. Don't just take a deal just to take it. Make sure that it's going to be something that's going to represent you well and represent your brand.
Obviously, the NIL space is growing and changing every single day, right? So I want to ask you, from somebody who's kind of been in it since the beginning and just kind of seen some of the changes and how it's shifting, where do you think it's going just within the next 365 days, the next year?
Some of the schools are taking more ownership on it, of, controlling the narrative and controlling the deal flow. So I think there is going to be a time where you're going to, as a business professional on the outside looking in, you're going to have to be more creative, and you're going to have to be able to bring some value. There's the days of just being able to, throw stuff at athletes and they just take it or whatever. Like a lot of these athletes are getting more savvy, and a lot of these schools are trying to take more control over what deals they have coming through.
With all the money that's going to be coming in, right? Because now there's going to be money coming in from different places in different ways.
Yep.
How could someone utilize the business aspect to still kind of protect certain interests within the new dealings of how the NCAA could kind of shift?
Very important for athletes to really understand how they can get some of that money, and it not necessarily have to be a brand deal, right? Like, it could be your brand that you're creating and you partner with different, like I said, I'm always thinking long-term, like I said, dream big, right? So thinking long-term, thinking big ideas, the more that you can do for yourself, because instead of taking that check from the brand, funnel that check into your community or your brand that you are creating, that essentially helps others, as well as.
We always hear, obviously, about the NIL endorsement side and NIL partnership this, NIL partnership that, this athlete partnering with this company, but we don't often hear about all of the other ways to monetize in NIL. So what have been some of the most successful ways that you've seen an athlete can monetize their NIL besides just the regular NIL endorsements, and even just the NIL merch that we still see a lot of?
Find your interest and then just go out and try to do it yourself. There's value in that. There's value in the ability to take your lumps, take your bumps, take your bruises, and not necessarily even have to go latch on to somebody else's brand. Start your own. Learn how to do it. Fail. That's probably the biggest thing that I definitely would want to tell all the athletes. It's the Athlete Wisdom Podcast, right? Go fail. Go fail at something. Don't just feel like you have to have somebody else do it for you. Just go out and try something and fail it. Because failing is going to teach you something that's gonna last you a lifetime.
failure is not just failing, it's an opportunity to learn something new. But you said something earlier in regards to white labeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we know what white labeling is, but what is white labeling for those?
Oh, yeah,
you said not a lot of people, not a lot of athletes know about white labeling, so kind of break that down too.
Yeah, so white labeling is when you have a distributor that they have the base of whatever product it is, and they will allow you to put your brand, put your name on that product, and they do all the work on the back end, and it's your branding. So it's not that you have to build it from scratch, but you are building the brand. So everything is already formulated, or if it's software or if it's whatever, if it's a product, it's already done for you. But now you just have to focus on the business side. You have to focus on the branding, the marketing, the putting it out there, the distribution, all that stuff. And so that's why I said it's a good way to go learn how to go build your own.
Dream Big Sports started off as a nonprofit, and then it pivoted, and then you still touched on how nonprofits can still be a benefit to athletes. So for one, why did you start Dream Big Sports as a nonprofit? What made you pivot from switching to a for-profit business? And then still, how can athletes kind of benefit off that nonprofit aspect?
So Dream Big Sports, it started as Dream Big Sports Academy. So I was a basketball player in college. I went the JUCO route. I didn't have the grades, and I ended up not having the right classes as I left JUCO to go. My best friend played for UAB, and so we were supposed to go to UAB together. I was going to go on as a walk-on, but I didn't have the right classes when I left junior college. I went to a small junior college down in Alabama, and we didn't have any not financial, but we didn't have any academic advisors telling us what classes to take. It was just show up and hoop, and that was it. So I ended up not being able to go to UAB. I ended up finishing school on just an academic scholarships because I had the grades, but I didn't have the right classes. So therefore, I had already used up most of my eligibility. But long story short, after I graduated, I was just it was so many people in our area that went through that in high school or college or something to that nature of, hey, just didn't have the grades or the knowledge of everything that needs to happen for you to go from this kid playing sports to, hey, I'm a D1 or a professional athlete that made it out of this situation. So my goal and me and my best friend, we started Dream Big Sports Academy, did basketball camps where we did some education. We brought in, like I said, academic advisors. We brought in professional basketball players, put on basketball games, and, gave back to the community in that way. I ended up moving away from Alabama. So that is why, the nonprofit ended, because life happens. Had a kid, ended up moving, and my other friend had a nonprofit, so I ended my nonprofit, jumped on was named to the board of his nonprofit, Youth in Action. So I kind of just stepped down and moved to the advisory side of the nonprofit. And then years later, that's why we started Dream Big Sports. So that's the story behind, how that happened, why it happened. And when one of the reasons why I can say to any athlete is Maya Angelou quote. When you get, you give. When you learn, you teach. And that was my biggest thing of hey, I wanted to make sure that, hey, when I have knowledge, I want to make sure I give it back. And that leads me to, why, these student athletes can and should start nonprofits, is because, hey, you've been afforded different opportunities. This is an opportunity to give back. And then, like I said, long term, it allows you to have a vehicle to be able to, one, do things that you're passionate about. I'm really big on finding things that you're passionate about and finding ways to get that passion out, because nobody wants to be the person that just only does things for money, only does things to be cool, does things for the look. Find your passion and do whatever you're passionate about. So nonprofit allows them to do that, as well as